to its ripple effect on many sectors of the economy, and whether or not enough is being done such that this is not just an ordinary celebration, but it moves beyond that. We're going to take you to the conference center from yesterday, where there were quite a number of speeches when the official outdooring of the 60 years anniversary, the cloth, amongst many others, was made known to the general populace yesterday. The BOG governor, Dr. John Cedi, he spoke. So did the finance minister as well speak, and then the vice president was present and speaking as well. We just take quick listening on the three individuals just briefly. Then we return, we get onto the phone line to speak to Professor Godfred Bokpin, and then Dr. George Domfe is a development economist. Professor Godfred Bokpin is an economist and a professor of finance at the University of Ghana Business School, on whether or not really there's something to celebrate. And also on the back of the commentary by the finance minister about protecting and using the currency. This year we've seen quite some improvement in terms of the performance. We'll subject all of that to a conversation and then ask the age-old question: what can we do to protect the city, amongst many others? Let's go take a listen in, and then we'll return for the conversations.
Under the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and Her Excellency the Vice President, and through coordinated, difficult, but necessary policy actions, I'm happy to say that Ghana has turned a decisive corner. And indeed, the evidence is compelling. Headline inflation is now at 9.4% as of September 2025. And we expect it to end the year even far lower. The cedi has appreciated by 37% as at October 17. And according to the World Bank, it is the best performing currency in sub-Saharan Africa for the first 8 months of 2025. Our gross international reserves are currently around 12 billion US dollars, which is providing a robust cushion against external volatility and restoring our investor confidence. So these gains are not by accident. They are the result of hard, sometimes unpopular, but principled decisions that we've had to take. Fiscal consolidation by government, a tight monetary policy stance by the Bank of Ghana, and renewed confidence from the investor community and the Ghanaian public. And so today, as we celebrate 60 years, we do so not out of nostalgia, but from a place of hard-won stability and cautious optimism. As your central bank, our mandate remains unchanged, and this is to safeguard price stability, preserve financial system resilience, and support long-term inclusive recovery. We are not yet where we want to be, Excellencies, but we are no longer where we were. And that is why this moment of cedi at 60 is not just ceremonial, it is timely. It reminds us of how far we've come as a country, and it challenges us to protect what we have gained over the past 8 months. Excellencies, let us use this celebration not only to look back, but to chart the path forward and to do this together. Under the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and Her Excellency the Vice President, and through coordinated, difficult, but necessary policy actions, I'm happy to say that Ghana has turned a decisive corner. And indeed, the evidence is compelling. Headline inflation is now at 9.4% as of September 2025. And we expect it to end the year even far lower. The cedi has appreciated by 37% as at October 17. And according to the World Bank, it is the best performing currency in sub-Saharan Africa for the first 8 months of 2025.
So that's Dr. Johnson Isiama. Let's hear from the finance minister as well on what he had to say yesterday.
Ministers of State here present, former members of Parliament, invited guests to join you today as we represent the pride of our nation and our heritage. Since 1965, the cedi has not just been a store of value, but as an integral part of our heritage. Indeed, from the days of our first republic throughout our history, and to the 33 years of our uninterrupted democracy, the cedi remains resilient. It has been a medium of exchange, facilitating trade, transactions, and connecting our people. For 60 years, through cycles of inflation, devaluation, redenomination, and recovery, the cedi remains the symbol of our national sovereignty. It has indeed endured. It has evolved and remains the only legal tender of our dear republic. Madam Vice President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this anniversary marks a new dawn for the Ghana cedi. The theme for the cedi, 60 years of the cedi, the symbol of our sovereignty, stability, and economic resilience, could not have been more apt. This theme underscores the need for all of us to have faith in our dear currency, the Ghana cedi. As managers of the economy, we have remained steadfast in our duty to ensure a strong cedi and a very stable currency. Our commitment to fiscal discipline has contributed to the strengthening of the Ghana cedi. We want to use this opportunity to commit that the government of Ghana remain committed, and we shall stay the course to ensure that the Ghana cedi remains stable and gains, as we have seen, are being maintained. As citizens, we have a role to play. And let me repeat this. As citizens, we also have a role to play. We must maintain the sanctity of the cedi as a legal tender by preserving it with dignity and protecting it jealously. We must all be vanguard, and we have to ensure that we are all vanguard by ensuring that the cedi's value is maintained. We must be eschewing the act that seeks to undermine the value of the currency, particularly the pricing of goods and services in foreign currency, the US dollar. Let me use this opportunity to once again stress that as Ghanaians, the Ghana cedi remains the only legal tender. The US dollar is not our currency. The cedi is our only currency. The continuous pricing of goods and services in US dollars will only hurt us. Let's stop it, and let us stop it now. The cedi is the only currency we have. Let us protect it, let us trade with it, and let us defend it with all vim within us. Let us talk about the cedi with pride, not as a burden, but always as a badge of economic independence. As we celebrate 60 years of the cedi, let us rededicate ourselves to the core to help build the Ghana we want. And colleagues, to end, let me remind you of the words behind me. Ghana cedi, our heritage. Ghana cedi, our pride. I thank you.
That's the Finance Minister, Dr. Cassiel Atoforsin. I'm taking you over to the phone lines right now. Dr. George Domfe is a development economist. He's joining us via the phones. Doc, I appreciate you speaking to us this morning. I trust that all is well with you.
By His grace, everything is very well with me.
We bless God. Doc, we've just been taking a listen in on the Finance Minister as well as the Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Johnson Isiama, who all spoke yesterday at the launch of the cedi at 60 celebration. I will ask this to start off with, 60 years on since the introduction of the cedi, as a people, surely something to celebrate, you'd say.
Oh, yes, of course. Let me, first of all, thank you for the platform and say very good morning to our cherished viewers and listeners. Yeah, cedi, if you look at the functions of money, one of which is store of value of wealth, And so since Ghana became an independent country, 60 years, I think we are 68 years old, and for the past 60 years, we've been using our local currency. Indeed, after independence, we still kept on using the currency of our European masters. And along the line, we decided to shift to use cedi, and that is a national pride. And I must say, it has also served its purpose. It's been a medium of exchange, a unit of account, store of value, standard of deferred payment. So cedi basically has been able to perform all the functions of money for the past 60 years. And for that matter, we need to be very proud about it.
And would you say we have to be even more prouder, considering that we are on course to end the year with the cedi performing very creditably against the US dollar, such that if you held US dollars at the start of the year, say 1,000, where you would have needed some amount of cedis to exchange it for, amongst many other things. If you are still in possession of that $1,000, in terms of cedi terms, you would have lost quite considerable value as a result of the strong performance of the cedi.
Yeah, I think on the surface, it appears cedi is doing well, but sitting here as a student of monetary economics, I will not celebrate that achievement, because it is not an achievement that is sustainable. It's not sustainable because the environment, the global environment, is very good. And again, we shouldn't forget that Ghana, after the debt restructuring, we have postponed the payment of stock until the end of 2026. What does that mean? That means that Bank of Ghana now has the luxury to enter the market to protect the cedi, far above what it usually should be doing. And so we have seen that you are very right. At the beginning of the year, $1 was going for 14 cedis, 70 pesos thereabout. But since April 10th, cedi has been doing very well, because on April 10th, $1 was going for 14 cedis, 90 pesos. Bank of Ghana immediately came out to pump so much into the system. They continued pumping more money into the system in May. And by June, we saw $1 going for 10 cedis, 30 pesos. Some of us came out to say this is not sustainable, because yes, you have done that, excellent. But the implications are that when 2027, the bank is forced to go out there and pay the stock on behalf of government, as it has usually been doing. There wouldn't be that platform for the bank to enter the secondary forest market to pump so much as it is currently doing. And so we didn't think that it was the right decision to do. Let me say that I remember on Alfred Okansi's program, your sister station, TV3, we discussed this, and many of the panelists at the time didn't like what I said at all, lawyer Martin Pigou and all those people. But a few days later, I was vindicated when World Bank and IMF came out to caution Bank of Ghana. What did we see? When the caution Bank of Ghana somewhere August, and the BOG reduced the intervention by 56%. Immediately that happened, we saw cedi that was going for 10 cedis, 50 pesos, now depreciating. It went as far as 12 cedis, 60 pesos at the interbank. And the cedi that was the best performing currency in June, and many said that it was because of fiscal consolidation, and I protested on Alfred Okansi's program. That is not true. Fiscal consolidation can never bring down cedi from 14 cedis 90 pesos in within 6-7 weeks to 10 cedis. That is never true. And when I protested, I was vindicated later when Bank of Ghana and when World Bank IMF came in. And now, as soon as they came in and BOG came out to say that they have reduced the intervention by 56%, within a matter of days, cedi started depreciating and it became the worst performing currency. Now, some of your media guys contacted and asked whether by the end of the year, cedi will not go beyond 16. I said no, because an IMF, we are programmed with an IMF, and the staff level agreement was almost getting to an end. As soon as the staff level agreement is ended, I hope Bank of Ghana will continue with the same attitude they were doing by supplying more. And right to my words, my prediction is I became a prophet here. Immediately after the staff level agreement, the following week, Bank of Ghana pumped in 300 million. At that time, $1 was going for 12 cedis, 40 pesos. But it didn't work much because the following week, cedi still moved to 12 cedis, 60 pesos. Then the following week, that being last week, they pumped 1.1 billion. And immediately now, cedi has come down. I checked it yesterday. At the close of business yesterday, $1 was going for 10 cedis, 85 pesos. That kind of attitude, where the bank would always have to enter the secondary forex market to boost the strength of the cedi, is artificial. The natural one is where I'm expecting that we build more factories, we improve our agricultural production, so that we cut import. Once you go, you cut import, so more of what people would have demanded, more foreign currencies that people otherwise would have demanded to buy those things. If you're producing them here, the demand goes down, nobody chases foreign currencies, and cedi will be where it is. That is when we would have to celebrate. But now, for a single reason, the Bank of Ghana intervened, supply 1.1 billion a cedi.
Right, but I hear you on the intervention of the central bank, but there are those who are of the opinion that this is a good time for the bank to intervene, considering that we've seen gold prices soar to heights never before seen in a very long time. There's been very great inflow of forex. How best to use that than to help stabilize the currency, even as the administration works on fiscal consolidation, which you say is not attributable to the strength of the cedi which we're seeing. There cannot surely be anything wrong with that. And dare I say, as a lot of people have said, that could be smart management of the economy considering the prevailing circumstances.
Yeah, we need to be very careful when somebody makes a decision. We get to the end of the tunnel, it becomes very difficult to see whether or not it was the right decision to do. And so sitting here, I can only use and yes, it is true. Now we have more reserves, almost about 12 billion reserves. And so what is wrong? And especially when we are not paying anything on our stock. It gives you that leverage, that platform more. To intervene, and so on that perspective, there's nothing wrong. But the fact of the matter is about the transmission mechanism. The transmission mechanism here, I'm referring to when it comes down. Does it really reflect who is benefiting from the drop? Yes, indeed. Once it is coming down, importers would definitely be happy because most of I think everything that is important into this country is sort of all quoted in dollars, and then you pay cedi equivalent. So once that happens, surely it means that the importers are going to gain. But the fact of the matter is that since that cedi started dropping, has that matched the decline in prices of imported goods? And the big answer is no. I have been surveying the market. I've been involved with quite a number of research trying to find out whether that is actually what we are saying. And we are not saying that. It means that only few people are suffering. What are the disadvantages in what the bank is doing? It is, in a way, also discouraging the inflows of private remittances, especially from Ghanaians living abroad. And the bank has come out to talk about this. Again, another disadvantage the total revenue. And GRA recently came out to say that they are expecting a revenue. The projected revenue during the year, they could rake in only 70%. So we are losing 30% of our total revenue. Well, because of the appreciation of the cedi, And so if GRA is losing so much and foreign private, private remittances are not forthcoming, and what the gains that we are making is not being reflected, because if you see cedi doing so well, I would have expected prices to go down, but prices are not going down. The other time somebody was asking me, but inflation has dropped. Yes, the cedi has contributed to the drop. But again, if you look at the good rainfall we have had in the year, you could also understand where we are coming from. Again, global oil prices now about hovers around $66. Some time ago, about 3 years ago, it hit $121. And so today, if it has come to 61, global economy is very good, and this is a term that I would have wished we try to, as it were, rake in more reserve, and then use that to protect the cedi in times of trouble. Today, things are very good. So I'm not so much against what they are doing, but I would have wished that they don't force it down to the 10 that they've been doing, because as soon as you force it down to the 10 and you stop the intervention for 2-3 days, it goes up. So why don't you allow it to stagnate around 15, 14, because our exchange rate system is managed floating, which demands that Bank of Ghana would have to intervene all the time. And let me say, the intervention that we are seeing is not only this governor that is intervening. All governors have been intervening since we started managed floating exchange rate system. And so the intervention has always been, it's always done. But the fact is that we haven't seen it being done excessively as we are witnessing today. And so today you may get because the global environment is very good, and again, you are not spending so much on your debt stock, things will be better. What about 2027, which will definitely come, when we begin to pay the stock, and the bank does it on behalf of Ghana government? Would there be that luxury for them to do what they are doing? And that's the problem I have. You mentioned that, so now let us do this. So maybe by 2027, some of the good measures that we are putting in place today would have yielded dividends. Check that, work at the, University College, Dublin. And when I go to the airport, they have directed me the bus that I have to take me to campus. I went to the box and they told me, no, they will not accept my money. It was dollars. I had to go back to look for, a foreign bureau to exchange before I could get euros. So strictly, that country, Ireland, you can't spend dollar, not anywhere. Yeah, because maybe they're also self-sufficient. They produce enough, and they don't depend so much on what people have produced. And so foreign currencies are not in higher demand, But in our situation, even common toothpaste, chamber pot, we are important. And so you can imagine, everybody needs dollar. Dollar has become so lucrative. It has become, in fact, I'll tell you, sometimes even if you are going for a girlfriend, and your first day of a gun, this lady gets to know you have so much dollars. I tell you, it doesn't matter the problems you have. That is how you are going to win over the love of this particular lady. We love dollars. And so it's not easy. The problem was this. So I remember 2006, during the days of President Kufuor, he came with Foreign Exchange Rate Act, Act 723, 2006. And it never worked. The implementation became a problem. So the 2 years that Kufuor was in power, as hard as he did, it didn't work. I remember during President Mohammed's first term of office, the governor was Dr. Wampa, an excellent governor. He came out with so many other draconian measures to make sure, people, didn't price goods and services in dollars. That also didn't work. In fact, at a point in time, you had to keep quiet over, those draconian measures, and he was so loud, with those measures. And so today, what we are hearing, I'm not too surprised that we are still pushing that agenda forward. But as whether it will work is another problem. So that next time you don't call me for us to talk about it again. I think that the bottom line should be about how to improve local production, to cut down on our imports, so that everything that we need, most of what we need, we are producing them here, and people don't need dollars or foreign currency so much. When that happens, nobody would want to price their goods and services in dollars. Until then there's going to be a problem, because the cedi is not stable because of the volatile nature of cedi. As a senior research fellow, most often when I am doing budget for a research project, I quote in dollars, because if you do it in cedis, sometimes it takes a while, a year or two, or sometimes in months before you get the money. Cedi is somewhere, and you lose so much. So most, in order to make sure I don't lose, I always would quote my budget in dollars.
But this year, if you quoted in dollars this year, you could be running at a potential loss.
At a loss, which it doesn't normally happen that way. It doesn't normally. If you look at the last 68 years of journey, our local currency has always been depreciating. So appreciation is something that doesn't happen. Yeah, of course, I would have lost if at the beginning of the year I had done budget and quoted in cedis. In dollars. This doesn't happen. This normally doesn't happen.
It's a first ever. If I'm not mistaken, it's a first ever that we're ending the year with a positive balance in terms of the city's performance. And I hear you. In fact, I as well, from time to time, ask myself when we will stop having conversations about pricing in dollars, amongst many other things. But in the explanation you've been offering, it's very obvious that people are looking for safe places they can keep their money where it doesn't lose its value.
Exactly.
In terms of...
But that's a key function of money.
Right.
Store of value.
Right.
And everybody wants the best for themselves, and so once that is so attractive, it becomes very difficult, to say nobody should quote their prices in foreign currency.
Right, yes. But I was just going to complete the question that since that is the problem, that is what everybody is seeking to be on the lookout for, such that the currency is not devalued or the amount of money you're possessing is not devalued. What are the other interventions that can come through? Because we've spoken about structural matters in terms of the economy. Production needs to be improved. Yesterday we read that the finance minister says he's seeking to create 500,000 jobs and improve export of palm oil or palm products in the next budget, amongst many other things. Around the table, there's that agreement that we haven't quite reached the levels just as yet where we can begin to see our export earnings far outgrow our import earnings, such that we will not have a need for savings in terms of dollars. We're seeing the Bank of Ghana as well introduce the gold coin, for instance. Is that a viable alternative for persons looking to hoard dollars as a store of value? Because we need to begin to have the conversation as to, in the now, when we haven't addressed the structural matters of the economy, still finding safe havens where people can keep their monies outside of Forex so that we do not see the cedi depreciate.
Yeah, all those are very good measures, seriously, because as I said, yes, you can't get up a day and say that you are reducing import to the volumes that would help cities stay afloat. I mean, it takes a while. And so when people were blaming Dr. Baumia, who said he was going to arrest the dollar. I can understand, because arresting the dollar is not a day job. You do it with policy measures, i.e., improving agricultural, production, and also trying to build more factories. It doesn't take a day, and they started something. One district, one factory, and all those things. Very excellent. Today, as we speak, we have 6 car assembly plants working in Ghana, and elsewhere. I'm talking about developed economies. People don't normally go out there to buy with cash. And so these are all some of the things that we can do. Today we have 6 car assembly plants working and producing cars. Every year we spend over 1 billion importing home use cars. I want to say that the government should also look at that side. How do we get the assembly plants to produce more in Ghana, so ordinary teachers like me can buy, because our new cars are very expensive? How to use the credit cards and all those things, scoring cards and all those things to buy some of these things. When we are able to do that, by and large, you are reducing the import. And if you do that, you're also reducing the demand for, dollars. But again, what you said makes a lot of sense. The introduction of the gold coin and all those things would also help, so that people who otherwise would have stored the value of their wealth in foreign currencies can also have alternatives. So these are all very good things the bank is doing, and I want to urge them to continue.
And in terms of the continuation of such, what would you suggest in terms of a lot more of these investment opportunities or store in value opportunities which could be available to the Ghanaian?
Yeah, so I think one biggest problem with what you just mentioned is the patronage. How many people even are aware that such a thing is going on? If you go to my village, in a half of Burma to be precise, that's where I come from. I don't think that anybody there knows anything about the gold coin. And so things like this, that's why we have National Commission for Civic Education. They could do civic education, educate the people, how somebody at Burma could also do the same thing. Because elsewhere, if I were at Burma and I've been able to, get so much from tomato. We produce a lot of tomato and vegetables. I've been able to get so much from vegetables, and knowing that Cedi, the value of Cedi is so volatile, and I want to store this value. I don't trust the bank because the interest rate. If you store your money in bank, the interest rate is always very low. I'm talking about the saving rate. It's so low, and so people buy dollars. Even at the village level, people buy dollars because they know that for $1 for sure one day. Or if nothing at all, when you want to exchange, you will not lose anything. And so, how do we get those at the grassroots? At the rural areas, those who are not educated, how do we get them to come on board to patronize some of these beautiful ideas that the bank is doing? And so the bank is doing well, for sure. But it appears it is reserved for only the middle class and few people, because many don't even understand what is going on. Many don't know. Many have never heard about it. And so education about it is also very, very important.
Right then, Doc, I appreciate you joining us and having us have this conversation. I'm just hoping and praying we'll not have a conversation again and be asking what we can do to help shore up save the city, because it's one that can get tiring at some point.
Let's hope so.
That's Dr. George Domfe. Appreciate him, as always, for joining us this morning here on the 3FM Sunrise. He's a development economist speaking to us on the city, the performance of the city, and what it means for you and I in terms of 60 years on and what the expectations are thereof. The finance minister has been speaking, says that we should trade in the cedi and because it is ours and not the US dollar. What do you as well make of the commentary of the finance minister in all of the things that he's been saying? Share your thoughts with us on our streams, even as we continue the conversations here on the big conversation on the 3FM Sunrise.
Sunrise. 3FM Sunrise.
We'd hoped we'd engage as well Professor Godfred Bokpin on the subject matter, the city 60 years on. But get onto our Facebook stream and as well as on YouTube and leave a message for us on the conversation we've been bringing to you just quickly. Because the city is 60. It's what you and I spend. If you get into your wallet, your bank account, going to find is the Ghana Cedi. And so very important amongst many other things that we continue to use it as the mode of transaction. Unfortunately, we could not connect with Professor Godfred Bokpin, but we will subsequently seek to bring you a bit more in terms of perspective on this particular subject matter. You can win a lot more CDs via the luckiest because it's a season of winning again, and this is how you can be a part of the game and get some money into your pocket. The luckiest is back again, bigger and better, with chances to change your life. And two easy ways to which you can get in the game. The first is that you grab your phone and dial *712#. You choose option 1 to buy a ticket for yourself or option 2 to buy for somebody else. And if you want the system to generate a lucky ticket for you, go with option 1 again. Now, if you prefer to choose your own ticket number, that's option 2. Confirm your payment with Momo and you're in. The online way, head to theluckiestafrica.com and register. After registration, tap on community tickets to either pick your own lucky number or let the system choose a ticket number for you. You can buy a ticket for somebody else too, and when it's time to pay, you use Momo, and if you're outside of the country, you can pay with your card, Visa, MasterCard, you call it what, you can pay with that. One ticket can multiply your money by 500 times. 10 CDs times 500. Just imagine. And your entire community could win 10 times and over. And I've just been moderate with 10 CDs. Somebody could go 1,000 CDs and over and all that. So it's your golden chance. Hop on, let's get lucky together because luck is everywhere. Let's go for this quick break again. Time for us to get into our second conversation for you this morning, and that has to do with the chairmanship race of the opposition New Patriotic Party, because there's a face that's returned into an arena where he was at before. Quite some troubles resulted in his removal, subsequent replacement, and what many believe to be exile. This one, and we'll get into the details shortly, but he's as well been speaking to his suspension and some other matters, but surprises for you in terms of his intention when the news came out?
Excitement for me, actually.
Excitement?
I think now the race has taken shape. There are now two serious contenders there. We have Boache Jako and Paul Afoko. I think that they are the ones the party delegates should seriously consider. They are the ones they should seriously consider. Those are these are the kinds of figures that would the NPP needs at this time. They are the people who are able to steer that ship of a political party in its current form. You need people. The other day I was talking about Boache Ejako, and I told you the kind of people you need for a party in opposition that is in disarray, a party that needs leadership. It is obvious the NPP needs leadership. I'm not sure anybody has disagreed with that position. Even from within the NPP, nobody has disagreed with that position. I think largely we all agree that the NPP is in desperate need of leadership. And when I look at the long list of people who have put themselves up, Paul Afoko, I'm excited. Boache Jako, I'm thrilled. These are the two people the party should focus on. Getting one of them as the leader of the party, you need that. The other names that have come up, Stephen Asamoah Boateng has come up. I think he's also officially declared. Former minister responsible for chieftaincy and religious affairs. He's been information minister. He's been information minister. I think those two portfolios. So we have seen who he is. We've seen what he can offer. We've seen that he loves his party.
Yeah.
But question is, and that question applies to the rest of the names that will come up, do they have what it takes to lead the party in its current state, to rebuild the party. And I'm choosing my words carefully. Rebuild means that the party is in disarray. Nobody would argue on that.
People will argue with you on that.
Who?
The party, the current executives of the party, they do not.
A dynamic front from the parliamentary caucus. That one we give it to them. The parliamentary caucus is trying its best. But the kind of leadership and direction we need from the party itself, we are not getting it. So if you get a strong leadership at the party level, augment with what you have at the parliamentary level, the party will be formidable. Unless they want to put personal and individual interest over the general party interest. That is when people like the current general secretary will say he wants to rerun. He shouldn't be thinking about rerunning.
It's within his right.
It is within, but he should consider the interest of the party.
He believes he serves the best interest of the party. Why would you be seated on radio and be telling him he should?
You inherit a party that is strong. That
who says the party is not strong? If the party is not strong, they will not organize a protest and people will be on the streets joining them.
If what?
If the party is not strong, they will not organize a protest and people will be on the streets joining them.
Oh, Marina. This statement shows you've never organized demo before.
No, it's not about me.
The numbers at a demonstration does not speak to the strength of the party.
So
it doesn't. Any political organizer will tell you.
You make your argument. I don't want you to move away from the point you were making to get into the realms of whether or not.
So the incumbent general secretary shouldn't be seeking a rerun. The incumbent youth organizer shouldn't be seeking a rerun. Salam. The incumbent organizer, Nana Boachi, shouldn't be seeking a rerun. These are the key faces of the party. As for the chairman, we know that the chairman has been off, so we can't
I'm not even sure he's going to be available.
No, he's not. So it's fine on that front. We know that he's not running, so that's fine. So, but these key figures, key names that I've mentioned, they shouldn't be seeking a rerun. They haven't done good by the party, and they shouldn't be people who be asking the delegates to give them another mantle. Unless one of them wants to argue that, well, I have been trying, I have been forcing, but the rest of the leadership was not helping me, or the rest of the party was not helping me, so I couldn't put my best foot forward, or rather I put my best foot forward, but I wasn't getting the backing from the rest of the people. I don't think that these three names I've mentioned, any of them should seek a rerun. They should have the interest of the party at heart. So Edward Boateng, former ambassador to China, you remember him, made some infamous statements that he was dealt with severely in the press. Former roads and highways minister, you need to catch up. If say nothing is happening, you are sleeping. You can't see. Yes. You need to catch up. He needs to catch up.
Officers, arrest him. Arrest him. We're doing this in the country.
It was this man who unilaterally announced the closure of road.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes,
suspended the collection of road tolls.
A knee-jerk action that cost the entire nation, even till date, as we speak. You see, the nation lost a lot of money through that action. I don't think that, he's the person to lead the party. And of course, to be fair to him, he demonstrated some firmness at the ministry, dealing with the contractors and some of the work. They're talking about shabby work or shoddy work.
Shoddy work in terms of road construction.
He demonstrated that he can be a firm person. He can insist on quality and all of that. So that is a credit that we have.
You can't take that away.
You can't take that away from him. You cannot. Even if you don't like him, you have to give him his flower for that. Paul Afoko, I've already spoken about Paul Afoko. Part of the reason the NPP is where it is now started with the removal of Paul Afoko and Engineer Komne Japan. That was the beginning of the problems of the NPP.
Right.
These two gentlemen, in fact, there were three, with Sameh Krab. Sameh Krab was first vice chair at the time. The three gentlemen, one hot afternoon, were removed as national executives of the party. lots of reasons have been assigned to it. Some people have said because they disagreed and insisted on the writing against the flag bearer at the time, who went on to become president, Nana Akufo-Addo. That was why they had to remove them. Some people said, well, the party needed discipline, and if you are the chairman and you cannot be disciplined, then you have to go. Some said, well, the fact that you are chairman does not mean you should be competing with the flag bearer. You can't have two heads at the same time. And so he had to go because the flag bearer was the face of the party. But I think that particular problem has been resolved by the current constitution of the party. My understanding is that the chairman of the party is now the leader of the party, whether you have a flag bearer or not. The chairman is the leader of the party. And I think that is a very good thing. You need the chairman to be powerful. You need the chairman to rein in a flag bearer who wants to go haywire, a flag bearer who wants to what's the word? A filibuster. He wants to railroad everybody. Everything he says is right, and everything everyone else says is wrong. You need a chairman. You need a firm hand that can say, flag bearer, you cannot take this decision. Or, Mr. President, you are the president of the republic, but it is on the ticket of the political party. And so, Mr. President, come back home. Let's discuss this matter. I hear it was also one of the problems of the NPP in the last 8 years.
Right. I'll pause you on that because we've been joined on the phone lines by Professor Samuel Adu-Gyimfi. He's a political analyst, a political historian as well, for this conversation. Prof, I appreciate you joining us this morning here on the 3FM Sunrise, and I trust that you're well.
Very well, yourself. I'm
doing well too, Prof. I mean, surprises there in terms of when the news trickled in that Chairman Paul Afoko, because he was chairman before, was seeking to re-enter the fold of leadership within the party and was choosing to go for a position he held before he was removed and subsequently suspended and thus returned to the party.
My brother, greetings to your colleagues and everyone on the panel. I personally, my personal anecdotes, I've been waiting for this day where the MPP will become more democratic internally and more viable than it's been the past, if you like, 16 years or so. The idea of building a political party, I believe, is to enhance it from within through its own internal, if you like, constitutional and democratic arrangement that seeks the right of the very individuals of the party that makes the party a party in that respect, because you would agree with me that any political party must be a national-based party, broad-based, of course, and it requires numbers. And quite often, when key actors of the party, Paul Awentani Afoko, were removed, you have appropriately defined it in your own words, the processes, if you like, in summary, how he exited. But anecdotally, my view, my personal anecdote, is that himself and Mr. Kwabena J-Japon were forcefully removed because it was going to serve the agenda of candidate Akufo-Addo. This is not the first time I've talked about this. I believe somewhere 2014 or 15, I had the opportunity to comment a lot on how the MPP was running, especially when I said that the former president, with that period, candidate Akufo-Addo, His Excellency, was a democratic dictator. I'm just repeating myself. The challenges within the MPP was overlooked because it won power. But I said years ago that it was like the fire at the refuse dump. It was heating from underneath, and when the inferno was really high, it would, become a great fire for everyone to see. And in many respects, that is what we saw leading up to the 2020, for elections, right? The party was already disintegrated in many fronts, or at many fronts. But unfortunately, when you are in power, you assume that you have a way to whip others into line. And so even those who had been hurt or were aggrieved and were not happy about the happenings of the party just had to follow suit what those who wielded political power and economic power said it to be or directed it to be so. So fundamentally, we have come to the day where people want to liberate or unfetter themselves from such shackles that were put to the waist and the feet of the NPP because of the kind of leadership it's had over the period I've referred to. And so it's also culminated, if you like, into the kind of executives that the NPP had leading up to the 2024 elections. And today, we have seen how abysmal the NPP's leadership have demonstrated their positions and also how they have acted even in our present historical past, if you like. What you see today with the return of Paul Awintani, Afoko and the others, some would say have come about as a result of the amnesty. But I will tell you the truth. When the interagreement, when a woman is fully pregnant, there will be the breaking of water. Definitely, the baby will try to push forward, unless there is a major breach where you will be talking about a cesarean section, among other things, or unless the party itself would prefer to go through a cesarean process. But I'm telling you that the leaders today have no option than to call for that amnesty. It is in many ways a reflection on the fact that the party itself has been in crisis because of the kind of decisions it took in the past, superintended by Mr. Akufo-Addo, the former president, His Excellency. So today, if Paul Awintani, Afoko is in and in the race for chairmanship, it mimics or typifies all the issues I've talked about. The need to recalibrate the party, the need to re-engineer the NPP, the need for it to go back to orthodoxy in the sense of its own, internal democratic arrangements, right? And to allow for any party person to be able to vent within the remit of the constitution of the party that governs the party, and also be able to share a political view or position or have a dissent so far as internal party issues are concerned. At this stage, in its catatonic stage, right, the party was almost going into coma. But in its comatose state, it decided to ask for a life support. And the life support are the Paul Awintani Afoko and those who have come back from exile. If the executives are changed, my prayer is that if the executives are changed, then the party will begin to wean itself from the life support it finds itself. And then it will be able to travel the path that will make it more ebullient and be able to bring the kind of change it's required, that is required of them, and even make them more viable in opposition. So it's a good day for the NPP. Will Paul Awintani Afoko win? That one I cannot tell. Dynamics might have changed, but I think that it's a good thing that the party is beginning to appreciate the fact that these things must happen to allow it to at least showcase its internal democratic credential. Right.
You speak of the remnant of the leadership in the last 16 years and the fact that it's taken the NPP into lows never before witnessed and never before should take place. In this race for chairmanship, and considering the amendments done to the constitution which hands all of the party to the chairman, whether in government or in opposition, do you still see the remnants you speak of lingering on around this party chairmanship position? And what does the like of Paul Afoko coming in do to them as the current executives continue to wield control over the entire process? And there is a suspicion that things could be worked to favor persons who remain with the old guard.
Yeah, I'm mindful not to talk about the persona of these individuals who are presenting themselves, but at least we can look at some few items around, say, right? You wouldn't, on the global stage, countries are afraid of giving nuclear weapons, right, if you like, to dictatorial regimes, right, and dangerous leaders, for a better want of a right word. I do not want to name some this morning because we are not talking about international politics. But if you look at a micro-analysis of the same point, it is saying that don't give power to a reckless individual. It's as simple as that. But if we are very confident that the status quo will remain, those who went to lose elections and their actors will still be in charge of the party, so be it. They may be in political oblivion, maybe the next 15 to 20 years. That is all what I can say about that.
And perhaps we'll get into the personalities of these individuals, not naming them one after the other. My colleague Six is here is of the strong opinion that, look, for delegates going into this race, they should be looking at just two individuals, Boachie Jaku and then Paul Afoko, if they want the party returned to them and discipline returned to the party as well, in terms of how we've seen the flag bearership play out amongst many others. Some will say that's an unfair narrative to want to put on a race where all individuals have equal rights and should be given the equal opportunity to campaign and speak to delegates. Where do you stand on when anybody makes the argument that, look, based on what we've seen happen in the past, delegates should be looking at just these two individuals?
Like an old Jewish prophet, Mr. Boachie Jaku and Paula Wintania Afoko's position historically is what has reflected in what we saw with the NPP's performance, right? They have had the opportunity. I mean, if they were not allowed necessarily, but they were bold to state their position as to what is required of the party to gel and to do well. Mr. Boachie Jaku has been very vociferous. He has vehemently made his point known from time to time. And that is not strange to us at all. We are not, these are not political aliens. They are well and alive in spite of the kind of treatment these gentlemen have suffered, right? But what is equally important is that they have a certain strength to be able to serve as the fulcrum or the pivot to bring internal party cohesion and discipline, and more so to allow for the party's traditions to prevail. You see, when you look at a political party formation, it is not able to gel. Political parties do not gel internally based on populism. You see, they are able to gel on the basis of understanding their ideological leanings and what really makes the party work. And that makes the party, however liberal it is, internally conservative. Because if you do not allow that to happen, you would have political hooligans, right, who join the ranks just to disrupt it, not necessarily to disrupt it for a positive and a proper radical change, but to disrupt it to allow, if you like, some mishaps for personal interest, personal gains, and aggrandizement to be that which governs the party. And that's what the NPP has seen the past 16 years. So it needs actors like Paula Wintania Afoko and the gentleman, what's his name? Boachejako, right? To be in there and to be seen playing key roles, even if they were not chairman, right? It needs such actors, even beyond these two gentlemen, in other positions, right? I have no qualms, I have no problem with having the black and white keys producing a melodious sound in the NPP. That is the old guards and the new guards to have a kind of symphony so far as the development of the party is concerned, or to have a nice mesh or tapestry. However, you will need the young ones who have learned how to wash their hands to dine with the elders. And you will need the elders who understand that they need the zeal and the commitment of the young to form a better blend for the future. What the MPP saw, before the 2024 elections, I cannot describe it in words. It may be unprintable, so I will not talk about it. But what is important is that these actors are showing up, and I think that the party can have good faith in the future. That's my point.
And you think that delegates will be beyond, and I want to make the point that beyond
I cannot go into the minds of the delegates. Our old uncle, the later, what's his name, the Justice of the NPP. You can't predict you can't
fear
predict
delegates.
Right. Fear delegates, they say. Right. But what is important is that I am hoping that these delegates would have also evolved. As Ghana's embryonic democracy is evolving, especially in the Fourth Republic, I am anticipating that the followership, the electoral college of the party, the kingmakers, will have a certain more holistic approach than, in quotation and parentheses, a stomach-directed, sheepish approach in their choice of leader. Right.
Prof, I appreciate you joining us for this quick conversation.
Thank you very much.
That's Professor Samuel Edujemfi. He's a political historian and analyst with the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Sixes is still here with me. I think Prof tends to, in his analysis, make the argument that, look, these strong individuals, the two we mentioned, whether or not they end up in the chairmanship position, the party needs them in terms of charting a new course and being able to set itself up as a viable alternative to the NDC.
But the party shouldn't say, we need you, but don't be our leaders. Make them your leaders, and they can do the work. I think the party itself is interested in becoming relevant and credible again. And because of that, based on that, the party itself will be interested in electing men and women who will be able to chart the course. And so it's just in the interest of the party that they don't, there's an opportunity, so you have everybody lining up. It's like the time they had 16 or 15 flag bearer aspirants. And when you do that, some of the good ones fall through the cracks, and you end up losing out on the good hands that you could have. And mind you, these things usually come with some struggle internally and bad blood. It will create bad blood. So it's important that in their campaign to be elected, they maintain that cordiality and that respect, mutual respect, so that even if Paul Afoko doesn't win and Boachejako wins, Boachejako would recognize that Paul Afoko has some role to play in the reconstruction of the party, and so he would invite Paul Afoko, and the other way around. So that only happens when you see that cordiality and mutual respect run through the campaign, not with what we are seeing with the flag bearer campaign.
Nanaya Osei is a spokesperson for Paul Afoko. He spoke to Martin Asidudata yesterday on Hot Edition. I just want us to take a listen into the explanations he had to offer as well as to Paul Afoko returning to the chairmanship race of the NPP.
Shall we, Mr. Followed the previous election of Paul Afoko happened, which led to his suspension. Bills bring easier as compared to even his first time.
Let me rectify this quickly so that we can take a listen to him and exactly the points he had to make with respect to the decision to return.
A former national chairman. He still has a lot of people within the party who believe in him. And so, as I said, and as is contained in the press release, you will see that he has indicated continuous engagement with the party people, stakeholders within the party. As for political rustiness, I don't know what it means. Whether because he was not seen on political platforms speaking, it means he has become politically rusty or not. That one I cannot tell. But the answer lies in the fact that before he contested in 2014, whoever saw Mr. Afoko on a political platform? Nobody did. And so this time,
I would want to hazard a guess and say maybe the word political rustiness might stem from the thinking that, for instance, in the almost a decade while he was not seen in public light or in the media or on campaign platforms or political platforms, the likes of John Boedu, Chairman Wontumi, even to some extent, Mr. Boache Jako and Anakumia have been at the forefront of political activism and conversation. So maybe that is the assumption behind why we are saying that his silence might be a challenge for him. Yes.
Need I remind you again that before 2014, when Mr. Afoko beat experienced political figures like Jake Obechebilamte, Fred Owari, Stephen Intim, and the other person I think I've forgotten. These were party people who everybody knew. And so Mr. Afoko from nowhere, in terms of political stature, he measured up to none of them in the period leading to 2014.
Right.
How did he win? He engaged the party people. For me, he is in a better state now because he comes in as a former national chairman. He has a lot of people on the ground. He would engage them. At the end of the day, he believes that the party people who will be voting next year will have the opportunity to assess all of them.
Right.
And if that assessment is done ultimately, his record will stand very tall.
Right.
Now let me remind you of this. You remember in the period leading to 2016, he supervised parliamentary primaries within the party without a hitch. And that resulted in the 159 constituencies or MPs the NPP had in 2017. Do you remember? That number reduced to 137 in 2020, has reduced to 87 in 2024 or 2025, if you want it that way. And so he believes that if he's given opportunity once again, together with others, they will be able to reorganize and get the party in a better position to forge ahead.
Okay. My last question to you, kindly indulge me, would be, we know that there are some pull and push factors within the rank and file of the party, and one key issue would be where a candidate for the party position aligns, whether they align with the I beg your pardon, whether they align with the Dr. Mahmoud Baumia camp or the Kenneth Japon camp or Brian Champon camp or maybe Dr. Yaosei Duchum. So the flag bearer slots are one of the key pull or push factors that some of these other positions would be hoping to align with. Where is Mr. Paul Afoko aligning? With whom do you foresee that his campaign message would align with, so that if he does win as chairman, he can then mobilize to vote for that particular candidate?
My brother, do you expect Mr. Afoko to align with any of the candidates? He is contesting for the position of the national chairman. In fact, he believes that if the party is not well organized, whoever becomes the party's flag bearer cannot win the elections. So he believes that reorganizing the party is the topmost priority, number one, such that if the party is strong enough, whoever emerges, the names you have mentioned, whoever emerges as the flag bearer, the party will be ready going forward. He has no interest in aligning with people. You see, when you started mentioning names, you mentioned the name of Mr. Alan Shamatin. Is that not it?
Yes.
Is he with NPP any longer?
No, he's not.
He's not with the NPP.
Okay.
That factionalism, where people will box people into certain factions and corners, has never helped the NPP.
Okay.
And Mr. Afoko doesn't believe in throwing your support for candidate A even before the election happens. People can say all kinds of things, just like they did before 2014. He told the party people, those who matter, that anybody you select and you give me the chairmanship, we will work together and push the person to the presidency.
All right.
He's repeating the same message.
Okay.
He's not interested in, at all costs, A or B must become the flag bearer. No.
Right. Okay.
He's not interested in that.
That's Nanaya Osei. He's a spokesperson for Paul Afoko. Spoke to Martin Asidu yesterday on Hot Edition. And so his position has been laid bare, and what is expected of him in the coming days. But we know that the presidential primary will come off first before the
national executive.
We don't even know whether the national executive election will happen actually, but he's thrown himself into the race. And between then and now, some people will decide they are not going to contest again and all of that. We'll get to hear all of that, and we'll bring listeners up to speed on that, because after the presidential primary, a determination will have to be made whether or not they will go to the constituency and start constituency level elections from possible polling station agent and all of that. And
so doing top down. So from this national, regional, constituency.
That's an interesting way to reorganize the base of the party. But we'll see how it goes.
National
Time for us to
of the NPP, Bernard Enchibosiako.
Oh, no, he's seeking to do. Time for us to bring you birthdays before we run out of the studio. And quite a number of you were born today.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Let's get into it right about now. First one is a happy birthday to Apolala Proper, or I think it's Prosper Amwa of Ghana Cocoa Board. Apolala Prosper Amwa of Ghana Cocoa Board. Let's put his picture up if we can. Oh, the picture is up and I cannot see. All right, and that's him. We're wishing you a happy, glorious birthday filled with love and the blessings of the Most High. This one as well. A happy birthday to Dr. Samuel Kwame Fiagbo is the CEO of Dr. Sami Scientific Herbal Clinic. It's your birthday today, and I hope your day is filled with love, joy, and everything you deserve. Happy birthday to my favorite CEO. From Christiana Ochri, she sent this one in. Then a happy birthday to you as well. No name, but it simply says more blessings to you. Happy birthday to you. Hopefully the user the next time will get the name right. Happy birthday to you as well. Harrison Anku, from the entire Black and White family, we say a happy birthday to you, wishing you God's divine goodness. God bless you as well. This is why you're saying something. And also a happy 10th birthday to little Angela Janelle Alote. May your special day surround you with countless blessings, excellent health, and all the achievement you aspire. From your sweet mom, Angela Janelle Alote. Your 10th birthday, your mom wishes you a special day surrounded with countless blessings, excellent health, and all the achievements you aspire for. Also to Sergeant Felix Elom Otoyo, may the good Lord continue to protect, guide, and keep you. Thanks for your love and care from your children and your lovely wife. To Sergeant Felix Elom Otoyo May. And to the next one as well. Happy birthday to you, Mimi. You're blessed, greater grace, dearest cheers to greatness. From Nini. Who is Nini, by the way? Nini is wishing you, Mimi, a fantastic birthday, greater grace. And I believe the last one, a happy birthday to Theophilia. May the good Lord bless and keep you, and have your days be filled with all of the joy in this world. Okay, so I got the name of the individual who was unknown. So happy birthday to my namesake, rather, right? Eric Agnumbala of the Maritime Authority. Whisper it into my ears. Whisper it into my ears, and I'll do justice. Whisper it into Agnumbala. Eric Agnumbala. With the Maritime Authority, a Christian gentleman of St. Francis Xavier Minor Seminary. And so you know where this birthday wish is coming from. It's coming from Six Stone Ulo. He says, may the good Lord increase you and cause your boundaries to be extended greatly. That's it from us this morning. We're back again tomorrow. The news update at 10 will be on your radio in a short while. But just by way of news updates for you as well, appointments committee, yes, we know. If you didn't know, November 10 is when the vetting of the Chief Justice nominee is expected to take place. And so be on the lookout for that. Many thanks to Sixers Don Uno, Frederick Kunzo Tiani, Sandra, DJ Abiam. Yours truly, Eric Mawena Egbeta. We're back again tomorrow, God willing, with another exciting edition of the show. Enjoy this one from Dope Nation. They call it what? Kakalika.